This ruler sent 800 young women, known as the king's daughters, to a colony to bolster its population. 7 fiscal edicts sparked the first popular uprising against this ruler, which is called the Fronde. A scandal at this ruler's court, called the Affair of the Poisons, implicated aristocrats like his mistress, Madame de Montespan. This ruler's marriage to Maria Theresa of Spain was arranged by his advisor, Cardinal Mazarin. This king issued the Edict of Fontainebleau, revoking many rights given to the Huguenots by the Edict of Nantes. For 10 points, name this French king who built the Palace of Versailles, nicknamed the Sun King. And the answer is Louis XIV. A trial in this ruler's court followed Nicholas Donan's accusation of blasphemy in the Talmud. After one of this ruler's losses, a monk known as the Master of Hungary rounded peasants and attacked churches in the Shepherd's Crusade. This ruler's heart was buried near Palermo by his brother Charles of Anjou. At the request of Philip IV's wife, Jeanne of Navarre, a biography of this ruler's life was created by Jean de Joinville. This king returned the recently captured Damietta as part of the Ayyubids' ransom after this king was captured at the Battle of Farisker. This king would later die in Tunisia during the Eighth Crusade. For 10 points, name this only canonized king of France. And the answer is Louis IX. Undisciplined troops under this ruler's commander, Philibert of Chalon, murdered the captain Caspar Royst as part of an event often cited as ending the Renaissance. After initially ridiculing one controversy as an argument between monks, this ruler presided over the opening of the Council of Trent. Long before his abdication to a monastery due to his gout, this ruler called Martin Luther to defend his views at the Diet of Worms. Victorious at Pavia, this first son of Joanna the Mad inherited the Netherlands, Austria, Aragon, and Castile into his domain. For 10 points, name this 16th century Catholic monarch the first Habsburg to rule over both the Holy Roman Empire and Spain. And the answer is Charles V. Despite being in a weaker bargaining position, this man was once promised Pisa, Livorno, and 200,000 ducats to spare Florence due to the inept bargaining of the Florentine delegation. During his minority, the Treaty of Sablé was signed by this man's regent and the father of his future wife. This king died soon after striking his head on the lintel of a doorway. One of the strongest proponents of this man's most famous action was Etienne de Vesque. This king kept Margaret of Austria in his court for 2 years after reneging on his engagement to her so that he could marry Anne of Brittany. Called a new Cyrus by Savonarola, this was, for 10 points, what king of France who invaded Italy in 1494 to pursue a distant claim to the throne of Naples. And the answer is Charles VIII. This ruler was the last to employ architect Domencio da Cortona, who worked in the Loire Valley to build the Chateau of Chambord to this ruler's specification. This European ruler's navy besieged the city of Nice at the same time as the Pasha Hayreddin Barbarossa. An anti-Catholic notice was covertly placed outside this man's bedchamber in the affair of the placards. This man met with an English monarch at a lavish meeting organized by Cardinal Wolsey, the Field of the Cloth of Gold. This man was captured at Pavia after his allegiance with Suleiman the Magnificent brought the Ottoman Empire into Western European politics. For 10 points, name this Valois king of France, a rival of Charles V of Spain, who patronized Leonardo da Vinci. And the answer is Francis I. A siege led by this man is the subject of an epic poem by Voltaire. He defeated Anne, Duke of Joyeux, at the Battle of Coutras. An event that happened shortly after this man's wedding was prompted by the assassination of Gaspard de Coligny. In order to obtain one position, this survivor of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre said that a certain city was well worth a mass and converted to Catholicism. He was assassinated by Francois Ravaillac, who was upset with him for giving the Huguenots too much freedom with the Edict of Nantes. For 10 points, name this victor of the War of Three Henries, the first French king from the House of Bourbon. And the answer is Henry IV. During this king's reign, his general Henri II de Montmorency beat the Spanish at the Battle of Valognes and helped Charles Gonzaga, the Duke of Nevers, secure rule over Mantua. The Counts of Montresor and Soissons plotted with this king's brother Gaston in a plot to overthrow him. Jean Guiton was mayor of a city that resisted this man's rule, holding out for 14 months until the signing of the Peace of Alais. Concino Concini advised the mother of this king, who acted as his regent until Charles de Luynes helped bring this king to power. This son of Marie de Medici and husband of Anne of Austria was advised by a man who besieged the Huguenot city of La Rochelle. For 10 points, name this French king who succeeded Henry IV and employed Cardinal Richelieu. And the answer is Louis XIII.